I'm going to tell you one thing that you should identify in regards to your spiritual growth and your growth as a person as a whole. You need to think about the aura of somebody, including yourself. Why it is that we have an aura in the first place, and what the aura is all about. The energetic field that all us beings and things have. We may know through science what that is all about in terms of frequency and everything, which spirituality talks about anyway, because it's all one, but actually thinking about it and applying it to your day-to-day life, because it's not just about the fancy things. We don't want to just hear fancy things. We want to also hear things that we can also apply to our lives on a day-to-day basis. So when we talk about the aura, even just the idea of the aura, although it is true, let's just say it wasn't, for argument's sake. So let's just say it's a myth. It's just a story. It's not true. So what do we take from that? Why do we have such a myth or such an idea as the aura, particularly pertaining to us as human beings? Well, you have to think of the aura as a bubble. And as we are beings, they say that sky's the limit. There's a reason to that. Your sky can be lower than mine. My sky could be lower than yours. So there is a limit. So let's say each and every one of us is a bubble. That bubble is invisible to our carnal eye, but visible to our third eye. So anyway, this bubble that we have, because it's energetic, because it comes from us as energetic beings, hence it is there in the first place. This aura, this bubble, as you expand your frequency, as you expand your vibration and you increase, and whatever word you want to put on it, as that happens, you would assume that bubble also expands, because the energy within that bubble is pushing out that bubble, so that bubble expands. So why is it that when the bubble expands, guys, I'm having difficulty thinking about explaining this because I've got all the visuals in my head, but it's just about putting the words out. You see, with the bubble expanding, you have to realize that the bubble is going to consume everything within it, even the things that it's not currently consuming. As it expands, it will, at some point in time, absorb it. It would, it would take over it. It would, that thing that it, absorbs as it expands will get inside of it. And obviously I'm talking about an ethereal bubble here. I'm not talking about a physical bubble that's plastic or elasticine or whatever. I'm talking about, an ethereal bubble. So it's an invisible bubble. It's a bubble that you cannot feel with your hands, your carnal hands. And so when that bubble, which surrounds you right now as I speak, expands, it is going to consume, that's the word I was looking for, consume. It's going to consume those things that are currently not consumed by it once it expands, right? So the reason why I say that and how you can apply that to your day-to-day life is simply this. Always remember that when your aura is expanding, so when you are expanding as a spiritual being, as a human being, and your aura therefore is expanding, just know that you will be consuming things that are currently outside of you. You will be expanding. So that expansion represents withdrawal. When people are expanding or becoming more quote unquote deep, or becoming more pensive, becoming more whatever word you want to use, again, people say that they become withdrawn, whether it's from society, from, their family, their friends, work, their career, whatever it may be, they withdraw. That's where you get that whole hippie stereotype of somebody quitting their city job and going out to live in the sticks. So the expansion that I'm talking about here in regards to our auras, our ethereal balloons, is that withdrawal. But whilst there is a withdrawal, and we all like to, you know, focus on the withdrawal part of expanding, you also have to remember that there is consummation, consuming. That bubble, that ethereal balloon, your aura, consumes things within it and without it, things that are not even within its reach. When it expands, it consumes everything it expanded before and everything it expands after too. So whilst you may be withdrawing, i.e. expanding, just remember that you're also consuming, i.e. getting closer to those nearest and dearest to you, getting closer to society, using your expansion, i.e. your withdrawal, to come back in to your own, and to come back into your society, and to come back into those who could benefit from your expansion. So if that made sense at all to anyone out there, that's what I'm trying to explain. I'm trying to explain that whilst we may all focus on the withdrawal part of expanding, becoming more spiritual, enlightenment, blah, 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 while we all focus on the withdrawal part, which is the expansion of our aura, we also have to remember that our aura is consuming things. So things that was not within its knowing, or things that was not within its realm, physically and ethereal, is now part of it. So whilst you may think, I can't function with these people anymore, these people are not like me, they don't get me, I don't get them, I'm withdrawing, I'm becoming more spiritual, blah, blah, blah. Don't let your ego trick you. Don't get into a fix. Don't become religious. Don't simply switch your religions. You need to liberate yourself from religion. So in doing that, you need to liberate yourself from dogma and judgment. So whilst you may be expanding and you may feel that you know better than others, remember that you are also consuming those others. So you are going to other places, yes, but those places where you were before are still within you. So you need to really look after your crop. You can't plant seeds and go away. You have to look after your crop, tend to your crop. So for all my people out there, even for myself, we all have to remember that as we are expanding, we must combine that expansion with the consummation, the consuming of things. So we're not running away from anything. We're sitting right here and we are taking it all in, the things we know already and the things we don't yet know, so that we can use it in the place we're at to better it. Because that's the danger where spirituality is, I believe. Rather than spirituality being spirituality, and that is really having no label, no name attached to it, you've got people who are simply switching religions. So they may become disillusioned with a particular subscription and they decide to cancel that subscription and go and open another one. And they will call that spirituality. And that is not the case. They're not fooling anyone but themselves. So you have to remember, spiritual people out there, that when you expand, you're also consuming. So I like the fact that you have consume, where you get consummation, the bringing of things coming together, not things falling apart. So expand yourself and also remember where you come from and where you are, so that you can enlighten the environment, not just people, but when you expand, you bring what you have got from your expansion back to where you are, and you have that expansion. So you have the best of both worlds. So don't leave one for the other because you're just being religious. Peace.